How you doing, Jasmine?
Yeah, I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad. Not too bad. Not too bad. Hoping that the weather makes a bit of a turn for my training session tomorrow. But apart from that, yeah, all good. All good. How are you?
Yeah, not bad. Yeah. Well, it's been alright today. Got out on the bike.
Very
Couldn't
good.
shop though because the rain started coming. I could see it in over the hills. I was like,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't want to make it that miserable.
No,
But yeah,
I mean cycling in the rain and running in the rain is a bit different, I find. Like I think I can run in the rain and actually I quite enjoy it. It's
quite
fine.
therapeutic.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely brilliant. You get back, you have a nice warm shower, you feel amazing. On a bike, it's a little bit more miserable, I find. I'm
Yeah,
not.
I agree.
Yeah,
Mountain biking, fine. Road biking,
yeah,
and it's the
yeah.
first time I've been on a bike since I've come back. And I was like, I don't want to make it that miserable. I want it to be enjoyable.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, I bet after all of that swimming, which we'll get to in a second, but like after all that swimming, it must be just really quite refreshing to either go for a run or go to the gym or go and do something else, like mountain biking.
Yeah, difficult. Like I found even like walking to start with difficult.
Isn't
Yeah,
it?
that's
Yeah.
my legs like of cycling. Like yeah, it's great, different.
How's your fitness been actually from that? We'll get into it in a bit more detail, but have you found that it's increased quite significantly or
Um,
not intended?
Changed. I actually feel more unfit because I think I'm so swimming fit. Like I am, my body is only designed now for being in the water for 6 hours at a time. So I'm
Right.
even my temperature.
Yeah.
I'm getting warm so quickly because my body's used to a much colder temperature to be exercising at. Um,
Yeah.
and then even just like walking, like I could feel on my hips that my hips haven't been stretched because I've only been doing like small little steps on the boat or like just kick
Yeah.
where your legs are pretty much together. So it's loads
Yeah.
of it's really interesting actually.
That is very interesting. So let's rewind. Let's go back to um, the actual challenge itself. So, if anyone is watching and they don't know what Jasmine has done and hasn't read up about it, um, swam from Land's End to John O'Groats. Only three people have done it. Is that right?
Yep.
Unbelievable. And how we met, which is I reached out to you because I had heard that you had broken the world record for the youngest woman to have single-handedly rowed across the Atlantic, aged 21. No,
Yep.
21.
Yeah.
Yeah, so 21. I reached out to Jasmine on Instagram and just to say amazing achievement. Didn't expect anything back. Jasmine messaged me back with a picture of her in the Atlantic, standing there like that in her underwear, saying, "This will make you happy. I was wearing your product," and I was completely made up. I sort of went down and I was all excited, didn't know what to do. I was like a little kid. It was brilliant. That was
It was
really,
a bit of a coincidence. I was
yeah,
just like, oh,
yeah,
I know
yeah,
that. Yeah, I'm bored. They were brilliant.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. No, it was great. Yeah, and you'd actually bought the product. I mean, I probably would have sent you a pair had I've known.
yeah. I mean, to be fair, I wrote to so many different companies. Can you sponsor this? Can you sponsor that? And the amount of time and effort it took me to
Yeah,
like get emails to then live up to the promises of stuff. I was just like, we'll just buy some stuff. It's pretty well priced as well, so I wasn't too bothered.
that's good. That's brilliant. So, we had a brief chat before, and I wanted to sort of I didn't know how to sort of frame you and what we would say. And I would call you an adventurer because I mean they are real adventurers, and I think you agreed that you'd classify yourself as an adventurer. I certainly would. So you're based up in North Yorkshire, is that right?
Yep, Thirsk in
Yeah.
North Yorkshire.
hmm And background, job wise, what do you do? What's your background?
Swimming teaching. Since I was
Yeah.
probably like 15, but to be fair, I've just been working behind a bar most of the time.
Yeah.
Because yeah, why not?
And and one day at an engineering company, is that right? Something like that.
Yeah, yeah. Just for like the past year and a half, 1 day a week at an engineering company. Um, yeah,
Very
part-time jobs, which means you can save up and
Yeah,
then also kind of leave pretty rapidly, and then go off and do challenges and adventures.
it's amazing. So I think tonight the focus is going to be on the swim. We will definitely get you back on to talk about the row, and obviously that's what grabbed my attention in the newspaper when I first saw that. So, but let's talk about the swim. So, what was the sort of idea? What was the moment that you thought, do you know what? Most people struggle to even go on foot across this distance, and yet you decided to try and have a go at swimming it. I mean, to put it in, just so people know, this is over 1,400 kilometers, and over 1,400 kilometers, over 900 miles of swimming. Unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. I mean, what was it? What was it? What was the moment? What was the moment that you thought, yeah, I'm gonna swim this?
Well, it was that I wanted to do something, and I wanted to do like a Land's End John British post. I was like,
Yeah.
oh, I was thinking about cycling it, and then I was thinking, hang on, why? What I did rowing when I've never rowed before. I was like, I like cycling, but I definitely won't call myself a cyclist. I'm like, I'm not really a walker either. Like, I've
Yeah.
never really done many mountains, never even done like the
Yeah.
Yorkshire, let alone like the National Three Peaks or anything like that. So
Yeah.
I was like, why don't I do something that I know? Like, I know swimming. Swimming is my thing. Like, I've been a
Yeah.
competitor my entire life. That's my job, and I train all the time anyway in the pool. Like, I'm already fitter than most people ever would be to embark on something like this. And I enjoy
Yeah.
it. I enjoy side. I enjoy swimming. Like, it just made sense.
It,
And yeah, all these other ideas that like had come together. It was just let's start. Yeah.
and I mean, swimming the channel is one thing, right? Because that's continuous, it's non-stop. Have you done that? Have you thought about doing that, or?
I thought about it. I was like, oh, well, why don't I do the channel or something like that?
Yeah.
And it was, I'd still have to train like
Yeah.
a lot to do it. I would still have to probably get sponsored because it costs a lot of money to do. And the amount of like organisation stuff that I'd have to kind of put in to just doing a channel swim, I
Yeah.
was like, might as well kind of go big or go home. And like, how far can time that I've got? I've got
Yeah.
an entire no other plans. Like, what can I do? I was even thinking, do I do a coast to coast? Do I do the bottom of the UK or even the top of Scotland? Just like that bit of swim. But I'm thinking, I need a support boat. I'll need a support crew. I'll need the sponsors. I need to
Yeah.
do all of that. Might as well make it bigger. And also,
Yeah.
people are trying to sponsor you if you get a world record. So I was like, that's not been done. I'll do that.
That's
So
pretty. Yeah, it's pretty amazing. So talk me through so how do you ask someone to go and do? I've got so many questions, by the way. I don't know where to start. But how do you want? I mean, the support crew in the boat, right? So you need that as behind you to actually pull this ridiculous feat off. It's amazing. But did you have people in mind that you said, right, okay, they're nail inserts that would love this kind of adventure? Was there a rotation of people? So certain people come and do like a week, then go home, and then how did you figure all that out? Because there's quite a lot of logistics there.
yeah, the honest truth is I have no idea how it managed to work out. Like there was some moments that it was really kind of hairy, and I was like, I don't have a crew member as of tomorrow. I need to get somebody else to come on the boat, and it's last minute. Search through Facebook, make like
No.
look who's like do a post in the local area. Who fancies coming out on a boat for a week or two? Yeah, it was very much like that. Does anybody have any experience? Doesn't matter if not, but I'd kind of like you to like. And so it literally got to the point. I had one crew member that stayed most of the time, and he agreed. I was 3 days before my start, and he was in Manchester, and he just drove down the following day to Dartmouth. And then,
Did you know him? Did you know him or
no,
not?
no idea. It was just through a crew page on like social media, and it wasn't even that. Actually. I think it was like a website, like a crew finder website, and he just signed up to wanted to do some sailing, and he literally flew down and then was with me for like 2.5 months or something. And he'd never been on a boat and just suddenly like, right, there's the helm. This is what you do. Off you go, and just picked it up. It's yeah, the same harder, but like the fact that it was new to everybody, like no boat ever has to like keep an eye on somebody that's in the water. The idea of a sailboat is that you try and keep everybody on the boat. So it was new to everybody, so it meant it was probably fairly simple to figure out, and it was probably better that you didn't really have that much experience, otherwise it goes against all of your instincts.
That is, I mean, I wasn't expecting that as the answer, if I'm really honest. I was expecting this sort of, meticulous Excel spreadsheet planned out. This person's joining, they're going to get here on this day, and not
No,
just kind of wing it, and we'll whack a message out on Facebook and see if somebody fancies coming out on a boat. That's
still looking for crew to bring the boat back down from Scotland next week. Like,
well,
I've
there
got
you
a couple
go.
of people, but I'm like, I was just looking through my contacts on my phone, like, who would maybe want to do that? That's free, that kind of knows what they're doing. Happy at having a miserable sail down the west coast of the UK in winter. So I'm just kind of like messaging people, being like, "Are you free? Maybe? Do you fancy this?" So yeah, if anybody does, then yeah, we
Yeah,
might get
reach out
message.
to Jasmine. That's it. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh my goodness me. So the boat's up in Scotland. It's got to get back down. And then you're selling it or keeping it for another challenge that might be boat
So this
requirement or not.
part of the logistics is that the boat isn't mine.
Right.
So part of that is that somebody basically I kind of rang up as a bit of a whim going, you sold your business last year. Well, how do you feel investing in a boat that I could use to do this swimming challenge and then it can get sold afterwards? Like, I was kind of like, you've got some spare change in your pocket at the moment. And he was kind of, we didn't even think. I just rang him up and I was at work behind the bar at the time. And he just went, yeah, sure. And then we'd agreed on a much lower budget. And then I kind of was looking around and realised there wasn't many boats for sale. Got a much more expensive boat, and I sent him the link, and he was on the phone and said, it's a bit pricier than the other boat. I guess there's no money to be had at the bank." I was like, yes, that's the answer we need. So yeah, basically the boat is costing me money whilst I own it.
Yeah.
I need to take it down to Dartmouth, get it sold, and so he basically gets his money back, which is the exact same as a rib, a different kind of boat that we had to get as well. So that's
Yeah.
currently getting fixed. So I owe somebody a lot of money from that one as well. So yeah, it's so challenging.
Wow. Wow. That's quite incredible. That
Yeah,
is,
willing to
so
help out.
still
Like,
the challenge is still ongoing, really. Getting out the water hasn't really finished. Yeah.
no, definitely not. I couldn't really settle back into life here and on land because
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm about
I,
to go back.
yeah, because was it 3.5 months at sea?
Yeah, yeah,
And
literally.
did you come onto land at all during that time or not?
Yeah, I had to right at the end. So I
Right.
managed 3 months without touching land, maybe probably over. And then
Yeah.
we realised that we couldn't complete the challenge without a rib, which was
Right.
a boat launched from a trailer and a truck. And
Yeah.
so I got in the car, in the truck, we
Yeah.
drove to the slipway, and that was my land expedition until like I finished, was just kind of driving to my swimming point, and that
Yeah.
was it. So yeah, walking up the pontoon in the car, drive.
Yeah.
Most of the time as I was driving, it'd be like 3 o'clock in the morning or something as per, and so I'm just fast asleep in the back seat. But driving for the first time, that was a weird experience. Like kind of just being in the car, I'm like
Yeah.
whoa, like
After three
so,
months, that's just that. Yeah, 13 weeks out, just swimming. And how long were you swimming for each day? What was that? So give me a whole daily kind of routine. What was it? Wake up, what time? Get in the water. Blah blah blah.
it changed so much. If I was out for like 5 days, we did 5 day blocks when we had good weather.
Yeah.
We'd go out, I'd swim for a tide, which was between 4 and 6 hours. It kind of depended on when we got there. Sometimes we'd be late because we didn't know how long it would take us to get to the drop point. Um,
Okay.
so around 4 to 6 hours, I'd be in the water. Like during the day, I'd maybe get in at like 10 o'clock in the morning. I'll be there
Yeah.
until 4, get out, have something to eat, maybe, or if I'm really tired, I get changed, have a quick shower, go straight
Yeah.
to sleep. I wake up an hour before my swim.
Yeah.
So I'd probably have 4 hours sleep. Wake up. It would then be, yeah, like 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock. Ready to get in at 10. I'll have some more food, get dressed again, procrastinate a little bit, send some messages, do some social media, get in the
Yeah.
water at like 10 p.m. and swim till it would probably be around 2 or 3, because I couldn't always manage the cold at night because it was really bad.
Mm.
Or it would just be, I just did need some rest. Depends on how many days we were into it by then. Like if we were on the 5th day, I was just exhausted. I hardly slept anything. And also it was up to my kayaker as well, like how fit were they feeling? Because they were
Yeah.
putting all the time with me as well. So
They've got to
yeah,
be they've got to be really switched on all the time, right? I mean, they have to be very vigilant and looking out for you because your safety depends upon them. So it's quite a lot of
yeah,
responsibility on that person, right?
especially at
Mm.
night time. Like at night time,
Yeah.
they can't see because I wasn't lit up because it's not really a way of lighting me up and I'm just in the dark. And so the way that they know where I am is because they could hear me breathing. And sometimes I couldn't see the kayak really either because they've got head torch on, and if they're looking forwards, I don't know where the back of the kayak is. And so I would often like hit my face straight on the kayak, and then they know where I am because you just hear it just go thud, and I'm like, that was my head. They're like, you're right. I'm like, yeah. Do it again. I'm like, that was my hand. And they're like, okay. Um, so yeah, it was. You have to be really switched on. They did amazing.
Goodness me. And so who were the lead people on the kayak? Or were they again just people that just came along and sort of a bit last minute?
No, these ones. First of all, I didn't have a kayaker for the first month. I was just swimming during the day, like we were getting into it,
Yeah.
settling, kind of figuring it out. Then the second month, for August, I had a lady called Bex who was a outdoor ed instructor from like a local activity centre, which actually let me train in their lake. So they messaged me saying, "Oh, I would love you to do like a talk at our AGM." I was like, "Sure, but I'm not here because I'm actually doing the swim." And they went, "Do you need kayak support for that?" I was thinking, "Yes, and I need a lake to train in." So that was one of the first things that were organised actually was that. And then, it sounds a bit daft, but I literally typed in to find another kayaker. I just typed in hashtag kayaking into Instagram and was looking at who posted a lot about going kayaking. And I found this guy called Gruff and just messaged him saying, "Hi, you like kayaking?" He was like, "Yeah." I said, "Well, I'm doing this. How do you fancy kayaking alongside?" He said, "Yeah, sure. Let me ring up my boss." We had a phone call again whilst I was at the pub at work, just on an evening. And figured out, and he said that he would take the whole of September off and come out for me.
I love this. This is just incredible. That's amazing. That is amazing.
So
And
it was like direct messages on Instagram, actually,
yeah,
just hashtags of different kind of people, and something that I need, or somebody's like, for example, I was up in Scotland and I needed a crew member in Scotland, so I was like, right, who has been like, I'll look for Adventures Scotland and like up
yeah,
at the west where I was of like the
yeah.
area, the most recent, like who's around? They're around. Let's give them a message. And yeah, it was the most kind of like probably creepy. A lot of people are maybe like thinking, I've got some recollection of that weird DM, like asking where I was. I'm like, that was me, sorry.
That is unbelievable. That's unbelievable. All right, so let's go back. Let's go back to Jasmine in the youngster Jasmine, right? So let's go back. Like, how did this all? Where do you think this comes from? There's obviously a burning desire in there to go and do some things that are pretty crazy. In my opinion, rowing across the Atlantic single-handedly on your own is crazy, without question. So, how do you get to that? What's the drive? What drives Jasmine Harrison?
Um, well, I guess like going back, I have always been like brought up in the outdoors, like
Yeah,
going out to the farm and like going on motorbikes and kind
yeah,
of being involved and like everything outdoorsy. We always went
yeah,
on Scotland, always like camping holidays. Yeah, and I'd always just love to like go off to places where people never went. So like we'd go to a remote beach anyway, and I'm like, right,
yeah,
I'm off over there.
yeah.
That's where really is ever gone. And I like kind of scrambling over the rocks, kind of going, actually, that's pretty nice water. I'm just going to jump in, just kind of like having a bit of a laugh or I'll beach combing and collecting and like, yeah, just outside rocks. I love like fossils and just animals. Everything's kind of fascinating.
Yeah.
That I was just kind of like desperate to see more, I guess. So that's what led me to the row, was that I wanted to travel outside the UK because I'd never been really outside of the UK.
Okay.
Until I took myself when I was like 18 and went to the Caribbean. That's where I saw the finish line of the row and then got involved in that. and after that it's just sort of like led on. I don't know there was anything specific, or I didn't know that I wanted to do this. It was just I
Yeah.
just like new different things,
Mm.
basically. Being outside, adventuring,
Yeah.
but it never labelled. Yeah, you know when you were saying like, "What are you like? Sort of adventure, explore all of this." I'm like,
Mm.
I don't really ever think of it like that. It's just kind of what I know that I enjoy.
Yeah.
And yeah,
Yeah.
it's kind of led into a little bit more of like kind of pushing boundaries and like what am I actually capable of? Like
Yeah.
realizing it was pretty tough. Hang
Yeah.
on, we could like push limits here, and
Yeah.
kind of learn more about myself as well. And it's
Yeah.
only
And like,
people are asking me the question why, and I'm like, I should probably try and answer that in my own way.
yeah. No, 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 I get that. And I saw a couple of your Instagram posts. I think it was at the weekend or whatever, and you were doing a swim meet, and you were a bit grumpy that you'd missed your PB by like a second and this and that. And I guess that's the inner drive. That's the sports woman in you. That's the competitor in you, and the determination that you're going to need. I mean, at times in that swim, you must have thought, God, I'm getting, like you say, a little bit of procrastination might be a little bit of an understatement. And you're probably underselling that. But you must have had 11 o'clock and you're getting in that water again, or 10 p.m. again, getting in that water, knowing you've got to swim 4 hours again. And you've done it for the last 5, 6, 7 days. I
Yeah.
mean, you've got to have that determination. You've got to have that fire in the belly. You've got to be able to get through the pain as well, because there was a lot of pain points. You've got, the cold for one is enough, and that bitter cold, chafing from your wetsuit. I heard, but also salty mouth. Is it salt mouth? Salt mouth. What's that? I mean, hadn't heard that until you mentioned it. So
Um, yeah, to be fair, I didn't really suffer with that much. It was only when
okay,
I was like a really prolonged period of time, but I knew it was a problem, so I learned to kind of like, and I taught
right,
myself like
yeah,
normal again, where you don't like wash your mouth out continuously with the water, which is what creates
yeah,
it. So
yeah,
very much like breathing out as my face is under the water,
yeah,
because that's like more like better for swimming anyway. Instead
yeah,
of like mouth out and then
yeah, yeah,
breathing out already, breathe in when you're out of the water. But yeah, the drive for all of that was actually just progress. I love to see the progress of it. Like, look, we've
yeah,
swum here,
yeah,
from there, we were plotting it on the chart every single time. I could see it map on map, and I was just like, this is good, but also we've got to make the most of it while we can, because
yeah,
I have fear that the next day a storm might just be imminent and that's it, and then I'm out for a good few days. So I'm like, right, you've got to keep going, and the drive comes from the fact that everybody is in literally the same boat as me. I've got a
yeah,
kayaker that's in the water that's there for me, that I've convinced to take a month off work to come out to sea, to be cold, wet, miserable,
yeah,
no um so yeah, it was just very much I'm driven by that. Like, you've come too far. There's so much relying on this. Somebody's bought me a boat. Somebody
yeah,
else has done this.
yeah,
Managed to
yeah,
get
yeah.
just.
Yeah.
If that isn't a motivator, it would make me a really kind of mean person, I think.
Yeah, you don't want to let them down. There's a lot of pressure on it. Once you've created that situation, there is pressure on you then, yeah, to go through with this. Certainly the fine fellow who bought you a boat as well. Yeah, 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 absolutely. So there was a couple of charities that I think you raised some money for, and that they're close to your hearts: marine conservation, surfers against sewage, if I'm right.
Yeah, yeah.
Talk us through that. What's I'm not familiar with these things, so yeah, tell us a little bit more about that and develop those.
So originally, I actually just want to do these challenges because I want to
Yeah,
do them. Like, a lot of people are always driven that they want to raise money for something in particular, that's something close to the heart
yeah,
and everything. For
yeah,
me, I do just want to do a challenge. Like, that was the main driver behind it. However,
yeah,
I'm like, I have the opportunity here to raise money and awareness for,
yeah,
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 charities that are important. And I knew that it would become a lot more important and apparent to me,
yeah,
whilst things like the clarity and like, yeah, just the sort of, what, I don't know what the word would be, but the like good water, the clean water basically.
yeah,
But I was also pretty aware of like the wildlife side of it because of my Atlantic crossing, and I
yeah,
was like, yeah, let's protect these amazing whales and dolphins. Like, I really, really wanted to see them. And I was thinking, okay, all this whaling that's going on, even in the UK, up in the Faroe Islands. I was like, right, okay, Sea Shepherd UK, let's put a stop to this. I still, like, if somebody else wanted to do this challenge in a few years' time, I want them, the dolphins and whales and seals that I've just seen.
Yeah.
Surface Against Sewage one, it was really apparent. And I knew that this would happen, that when I was swimming, that I would be able to tell. I was kind of curious, the different, the water, like levels of like pollution. That's the word that I'd be looking for. Is the pollution. So like when I was going across the shipping lane, that was a shipping lane because I could taste the diesel. I could feel the diesel on my lip. It was like really slimy. It was almost like Vaseline over my mouth. And then it was like, we're in a shipping lane, and I was like saying to my cargo, can you not at least like smell that? Like I can taste. Surely you've got to smell this. And then we'd keep on swimming for a few more meters, and it'd be clean again. And then it was just throughout the whole trip up, like just telling the different waters, this water's amazingly clear. This water's disgusting. I can't even see like the rudder on the boat when I'm coming up. So yeah, it was really important to raise money and awareness for them, actually, even more awareness. And unfortunately, like the whole charity thing fell by the wayside a little bit, just because the main focus was just get the swim done, and I was kind of a one-man band with it.
The energy that takes out, and I mean, I think we know, I mean, from a lot of our people, the energy to just raise money for a London Marathon. You know, you're training for a marathon, maybe you're not a runner or background on a runner. I know the pressures. I've had friends that have, you know, they've got to go and raise thousands of pounds for London Marathon. It's quite a lot of pressure. There's a lot of pressure, and there's a lot of pressure on the day, like you said, to actually finish it as well. And there's that's, I think, I hadn't really thought about that, but there's that nervous energy, isn't there, that's going to be built from that, and the build up to it, and you know, you're letting people down if they've given you a lot of money for their charity. So I can see that there's a bit of pressure there, but that was great. And how much did you raise in the end for the charities?
That's a very good question. That's still one of my jobs, is to go through the list of people and like thank them. But there's been probably at least 5,000, I think, combined. I've just put some in donations from people because I randomly get sent letters and everything.
I bet it's still rolling in, right? You know, because people will find your story and think, God, that's amazing, I'll sponsor, and it might be months after. So I've been putting in like a load of cash donations onto it, just myself. I need to have a look properly, but I think there's definitely been at least £5,000, which would hope more, but I did it. We've got the awareness, and I'm happy. Very good. And then, I mean, energy-wise, calories per day. What was your burn rate per day on this?
See, this will probably annoy a lot of people that are like really into kind of sport and sports science and like kind of looking after the bodies. I have no idea. I ate what I wanted. I enjoyed eating chocolate, spam sandwiches. I'm just not really caring, and quite a lot of the time I would rather sleep and eat. So if it was getting a bit desperate, they're like, right, that's it. I'm having a Snickers. I'm off to bed. I'm waking up. I'm having a Snickers. Doing another 6-hour swim. So
the diet was very much in the same spreadsheet as the support crew. Just what have we got on the boat today, kind of thing.
Pretty much. So I did. My weight changed a lot as well. It depended on. Sometimes I would be really high protein diet just because that's what was available. Because also in Scotland it's different to get like fresh good stuff from random shops when we end up anchoring in some weird lock in the middle of nowhere. It was. I did vary quite a lot from like if I had a lot of protein, I could tell that my muscles like got stronger, and I felt stronger when I was swimming. But also I was there like, I know that I can swim for 12 hours on nothing. Like it doesn't bother me. I didn't even drink whilst I was swimming. I'd come back on the boat, and then I'd have like a cup of tea or something with hot chocolate, and I'm off to bed. I am done. I would so much rather sleep right now than care for myself, because you are that tired. And that's why I had the rest days, and the rest days were so important.
Yeah, and okay, so that was the swim. I mean, we'll come back to the row, but just I would like to make the comparison on that. Did you have the same? You couldn't have been quite so laissez-faire on the row, would you? With the diet and that? You were.
I pretty much only really ate chocolate On the row, the diet changed slightly more in the fact that there was certain things that I wanted to eat, and there's some I couldn't even stand. I was like, no,
Right.
couldn't taste in that today. Um,
Okay.
so yeah, I did just eat a lot of chocolate on the row as well. Chocolate and protein bars, cereal
Yeah.
bars. I ate a
Yeah.
lot of Biltong. There's protein and stuff there, but mainly chocolate.
Yeah.
And yeah, I definitely didn't there either. I just, yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of like really naive. I'm young. It doesn't matter. I've survived. So what's the
Yeah.
worst? Like, you know?
Fantastic. I mean, I have to say, it is quite refreshing to hear someone have done a challenge like this and almost speak as if it's like you're just I just sort of went and had a bit of a go at this kind of thing, because that's basically how you're kind of describing it, is that you kind of didn't give. I mean, you gave it a lot of thought, you did a lot of training, but you had a complete confidence in your own ability. You knew that you could swim for 12 hours straight on nothing. That gave you the confidence, and you went for it. I mean, I think it's quite refreshing, actually, because you hear a lot of these challenges and they are, down to the minute detail, which I was kind of half expecting as well when we were going to have this chat. So it's actually rather refreshing. So hydration wise, what was if anyone's got any questions, we're going to start taking questions, so please fire them in the comments down below. But in the meantime, my question, one of my final questions is so hydration. What did you do hydration wise? Was there specific drinks that you took on board? And
Yeah, so I took a lot of Lucozade Sport because basically I'm a bit of a weirdo, and I can't drink water whilst I'm in water, or even like an hour afterwards. So if I've been swimming, I've done like a 2-hour solid session, I'm like boiling hot, so thirsty. Even by the time I got home, I still can't drink water. I can't stomach it. Like it'll just come straight back out. And so I always would drink a lot of milk during training. So I did drink some milk, but it was mainly for galas and stuff. Like Peter's group was always Lucozade Sport. So I bulk bought a load of Lucozade Sport, which actually got bought by the pub that I worked in, from like a big cash and carry. And I drank a lot of that. I had cans of Coke as well, because Coke is better for you when you're doing open water swimming, because it kind of neutralizes and kills off germs with the acid in it. Something technical about that. Either way,
did you have it flat? Do you have it flat, or
no,
do you have it? You just had it fizzy as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It might have been flat, might have been sat there for a day. I just don't pay attention to stuff like that. Yeah, and then I had a lot of squash as well, because it's just extra vitamins, really. Like you might as well just add something more to your drink if I'm gonna drink something, and it makes it taste better. Because basically I'm all like about kind of efficiency or like comfort with it, because also you get people that, so I know like Moss Edgley was doing the longest swim continuous whilst I was actually doing my swim, and every 20 minutes he was eating a banana. I'm like, what a waste of time. Like you might as like, for me, that if I was eating all that time, I'm like, I might as well be swimming. Imagine I've lost a good few hundred meters. If I was continually eating, let's say I ate every hour, it's going to take you at least 5 minutes to have whatever you're eating. That's like half an hour's worth of swimming that you've just lost. And I'm like, have that amount of time. If I'd done that, it would have taken me another month to complete the challenge. It's all about kind of saving time everywhere, and especially if I know that I can still continue. I'm like, as long as it's not that bad that I'm literally like not able to move, you can carry on.
Wow. Well, yeah, I mean, look, you know what works for you. You did enough of the training in that lake. I mean, how much were you training at 4 hours at a pop? Was that the general?
Yeah, I
You
tried.
get your body into that flow of 4 hours on, come out, 4 hours off.
Yeah, it's difficult to do that because I was still kind of working and organising. So from October last year, I was doing 4 hours continuous in the pool on a twice a week, and then it was just make sure that I could get used to swimming at a slow pace for that amount of time. And then it was in April that I started open water swimming and swimming in the lake. And I don't ever did more than 4 hours in a lake at a time, but that's mainly because by the time I've got there, got changed, got in the lake, got out, it's got light as well. You've got daylight to do it, then get changed, and then get home, and then to like carry on with what I was doing in your normal life. Like, I don't have time for it. And I knew my abilities, and I was cool, then I could do it in a like.
Unbelievable. All right. So my final question: 4 hours, 4 hours continuous in a pool. I have to say, I have to force myself to do 20 minutes in a pool. Like I mean, I have done an hour and 15 when I was training for an Ironman and things, and I found it very hard. 4 hours in a pool. Are you listening to music while you're doing that? Because you've got the ability to do that now, or not?
I in my training, I didn't have headphones at that point.
Right.
I only had headphones for the actual swim, mainly because whilst I was doing a lot of my training, I didn't have any sponsorship,
Yeah.
and I bought anything. So yeah, I was just doing it. Yeah, it could get a bit boring,
Yeah.
but I kind of mix it up. I would do a lot of kick as well,
Yeah.
and kind of yeah, just I was mainly for cool, but you get used to it. Sometimes, like the first hour, you're like, that was not like an hour. That felt like three. And then other times you could do 3 hours, and you're like, oh right, because the pool would like they have the different sessions, and
Right.
I would just get into it all because I worked for them and I also spoke to them, and yeah, we'll have like a deal.
Yeah.
And so like it'd be like, oh, the next session, have a look at the time. Wow, okay. And then I would also pace it. So some hours I'd go faster than the other hour, and like you would change it up a bit. But again, once you've done it once, you compare it. Hang on, I've done a 4 hour swim in the pool before. It's just
Yeah.
again. So yeah, it's always kind of do the maximum, and then everything seems a lot less when you do it again.
I mean, hat off to you, because that's mental strength there. Yeah, yeah. So we've got a question in. What was your best memory from the whole swim?
Best memory. I
And if
think
there's a few, we'll give you a little bit of license. You can say a couple if you can't make your mind up.
I'd probably say like a time where it was probably around the Isle of Man, and so
Okay.
this was first of all the first land that I'd really seen because I've been quite far out to sea, going across the Bristol Channel
Right.
and
Yeah.
across Cardiff Bay. So from Holyhead, I was still fairly far out. So when I could see the Isle of Man, the first land, and I had a target, and that was amazing. The
Yeah.
water was the clearest ever. And I had dolphins with me. It was just incredible. We also saw a basket park off the Isle of Man. But when I wasn't swimming, I was so kind of happy and motivated that I didn't even sleep during the day because I didn't want to miss out on lying on my hammock on the very bow of the boat, hung between like the jib and the mast. Hammock on there, like yeah, music playing, just kind of swinging with the boat as we're bobbing around, waiting for the next tide.
Yeah.
Like it's so hot, you're just sunbathing. It's incredible, and I know that I'm about to have done like my last swim for the Isle of Man, and I'm like just that time was incredible.
Amazing. I can imagine that would have been hugely motivating. Like knowing that you've seen that bit of land after all that time. Yeah, unbelievable. So we've got another one. Salt rock clothing. Would you do it again? And if so, how would you do it differently?
Well, yes, I would do it again, probably, but definitely not now. And doing it differently, yes, it would have to be done differently, but also I'm like, it couldn't be done any different. I wish I was a little bit more organised with it, but what I did find was that, yeah, I don't know, I'd have probably been a little bit stricter with kind of the crew and who was going to be skippering the boat, because that created quite a lot of problems, was the skipper.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I would have taken a lot more time with that. The thing is, I definitely say that now, but I did take time with it beforehand. There was not many people to choose from, because everybody that's one qualified to do something like that, that has the experience and that is somebody that you get along with and wants to be there,
Yeah.
they're already doing their own cool thing. So you're never going to find the perfect person unless you book it well in advance.
Yeah.
2 years, 3 years time, and you book somebody in for that entire time, or
Yeah.
I had of money to pay them. That would also
Yeah.
maybe was look for more sponsorship. I ran out of money very rapidly.
No,
So,
I get that, because you're doing it on a shoestring as well, right? You know, you're not. This isn't sponsored, corporate sponsored kind of, the boat's paid for. You've had to hustle your way through it, and do it on a shoestring, which I think is admirable. And I think it's testament to your personality. You've clearly got that unfazed personality. Your personality trait will be, I'm going to get this done. That you compartmentalize it, you're going to get it done. That part, this will happen, and you've got a positive outlook. You have to have done what you've done. It's just, I think it's absolutely incredible, I can't even think about either of those challenges, which pose the question: can you share any ideas of what you? Yeah, I can see you rolling your eyes. What's next? Everyone must ask you that. It's probably the question you get asked all the time. It's probably really annoying. So I'm going to be that person. I'm going to say it as well. But what's next for Jasmine Harrison?
So next is get the boat back, which is next week, week after, and then I've got an idea.
Yeah. Okay. If you don't want to say it, don't.
No, it's just
you can say what maybe discipline, because obviously you're.
Oh, that gives it away more than anything.
Okay.
Not a while. It's not the start when I would start it. Is not for like 23 months or something. So loads of time. But also it depends on the ease of getting the sponsors together, because it will basically, this is like the most expensive thing like ever in my scale of stuff. So I'm like, if I can get the sponsors, then definitely I'll do something. But it's also making that decision because it's a time commitment, because it would be now a 4-year process till it's finished. Right. So it's it's quite a big thing. So I've decided, but I'm just kind of in contact with a couple of people, and then I'm like, right, we'll put together a plan, approach stuff, and start off slowly. And if it's not going to happen, it's not going to happen, basically. So I don't want to make promises by telling people.
Absolutely. And I think that's a really good way to finish. And we will love to have you back on for another one to talk about the row, because I would love to talk about the row. I think that's incredible. So we'd do that. And obviously, if you have any news, I'm sure you'll tell me, Jamie. I've kind of sorted it all out, and I'd like to talk about it. That would be brilliant, because we'd love to give you a bit of a platform. If there's any sponsorship, anything we can help with on that, so you can get it out there and tell people about what your challenge is. That would be brilliant. That'd be great to have you back on.
It would be. Well, thank you. Let's talk again about the row.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. We'll get you on in the new year. I think that'd be brilliant. Yeah. Fantastic. Well, thanks so much, Jasmine. I hope everyone has enjoyed it as much as I have chatting with you. I think it's really refreshing hearing that these amazing things can be done, and you don't need to have the Formula One level of planning that goes into it. You can just get through it with a bit of pure grit and determination. I think it's inspirational. So thank you so much.
Definitely. No, thank you.
Thanks so much, Jasmine. Have a lovely evening. Everyone watching, have a great evening. Enjoy your running this week. And I will be signing off and doing my own training session tomorrow morning, which I'm getting myself ready for. So I'm going to go to bed nice and early. Have a good one. Take care. Bye.
Bye.